I'm studying in postgraduate government college for girls, Sector 42, Chandigarh, and I'm pursuing biotechnology honors. And today I would be there to present a beautiful story that is the basic of my life, I would say. And I'm also the author of a book named as Mommy and Me, which is basically a story of a girl with Down syndrome, how she faces the struggles and all the deepness and all the sorrow of her life that has been depicted in my book, Mommy and Me. And I'm the author of that book. So today's story, coming to the story, I think that it teaches us two basic lessons, I would say. First is how and why. You must be thinking what I am talking about, how and why. जब भी हमारा why strong होगा हमारा सारा काम हो जाएगा. There are various phases and situations of a life जब हम सोचते हैं कि नहीं बाबा नहीं ये काम तो मैं कभी नहीं कर पाऊंगा, पर जब हमारा वो why strong होता है we can do each and everything and we can have each and everything in our life. We can definitely achieve that. Also, the story teaches that how important is to have a physical health strong and as well as a mental health strong. Physical health जब हमारे control में नहीं है we can say, but mental health is a basic. Mental health strong रखना बहुत जरूरी है. So the story starts with in the old village of Greenwich in New York, where narrow lanes twisted like threads and old brick houses leaned over each other as if whispering secrets, lived two young artists, Sue and Johnsy. They were not related by blood, but they had found each other in a big city, both carrying dreams as delicate as the lines of their painting. So this here in the story, Sue and the Johnsy both are painted. They are young girls and their roommates who are living with each other. Very quickly, they became close friends and started living together in a small studio apartment on the third floor of a weather beaten building. This little home had a big north facing window and a skylight that lit in soft natural light perfect for artists. They were happy, living simply, sharing their struggles, their sketches, and their hopes. But that the day come. But one winter, a sad shadow fell over the cheerful world. So now, finally, the day comes, which is a turning point of the story. A terrible disease called pneumonia swept through the city. Doctors called it the red fisted monster because it knocked the doors uninvited and left many weak, hopeless. One could say Chauncey caught the illness, her fever rose, her body weakened, and she lay still on her bed, staring out of the window with her eyes that no longer sparkled. So, as we have discussed in the initial, ki physical health we cannot keep a control. Johnsy here is suffering from pneumonia, which is a red monster disease. Sue, who is her friend, tried her best to cheer her up. She brought her warm soup, fluffed her pillows, and talked about their future plans, exhibitions, travel, and success. But something in Johnsy had changed now. The doctor visited and shook his head gently. She must want to live, the doctor said. Her recovery depends as much on her heart as on the medicine. Now, here the doctor has compared the medicine with the heart. The strong, दोनों ही चीजें बहुत strong होनी चाहिए हमारी life के अंदर. Medicine, the lifestyle which we are living, as well as our heart, our mental health. But Johnsy wasn't listening. Her tired eyes were fixed on the old ivy vine that climbed the brick wall outside their window. Its leaves had turned yellow in the winter chill, and one by one all the leaves were falling. Now it's the winter time, and all the leaves were shedding one by one on the ivy winter tree. When Sue asked what she was looking at, Johnsy whispered, "The leaves." When the last one falls, I shall go too. Now, this was the strong statement which displays the mental statement and the thinking of Johnsy. I repeat, the Johnsy said, the leaves, when the last one falls, I shall go too. Sue was froze. Chauncey, what nonsense! Leaves don't decide your life, your future. It's your life, it's your future. But Chauncey shook her head weakly. The sickness had drained not just her strength, but her will to live. I have known it for some days, she said. As the vine loses its leaves, I lose the days left for me. Sue was totally heartbroken. She tried everything. She painted nearby as the both of them were painters. She told stories, she pleaded, but Chauncey would not look away from the window. From the window, she was watching that tree, the vine tree. Just let me count, she said softly. Just let me watch. Just let me see. Just let me count. These were the words, I would say only words sent by Chauncey. Every few hours a leaf would fall, to sting in the cold wind, and Chauncey's breath would become shallower. By evening, only one lonely leaf clung to the vine. Now it was a day when only one leaf was there in the tree. All of them would have fallen because of the storm that happened tonight. It will fall tonight, said Chauncey, whispered to the Sue's ears. Then I'll go too. Sue rushed downstairs to find their neighbor. The neighbor name was Old Bear Man, a painter who lived on the ground floor of the building. He was over 60, rough in his manners, fond of rumbling complaints, but with a heart as soft as a melting wax. For 40 years he had dreamt of painting a masterpiece, but he had never begun. Instead, he posted for other artists to earn money and spent most days grumbling around life. Sue told him everything. Johnson's illness, her strange belief, her fading hope, the last leaf trembling outside the window at the tree. Bearman stammered, his fist on the table. What foolishness! A leaf? A leaf is making her lose the life of Johnsy. This must not happen, said by Bearman. You worry no more. I shall do something, said by the Bearman. He did not say what. He simply put on his old coat, lifted his heavy boots, and walked with Sue upstairs. They looked out of the window. The last leaf clung to the vine, trembling violently in the icy wind. It will fall tonight, Johnsy whispered from her bed. She repeated again and again. Now, due to her mental health and thinking, the overthinking, I would say, Johnsy was repeating this again and again. It will fall tonight, it will fall tonight. The leaf, the green leaf will fall tonight. Bearman looked at the leaf long and hard. Something in his eyes changed. Sue didn't understand it then, but she remembered later. The spark of a man who had finally found a purpose for his brush. Now, the bear man who had not painted anything for about 40 years, now he has made a masterpiece, and that is in the form of leaf on the vine tree. Now here he has found a purpose of his brush, that he has painted a masterpiece in the tree, that too a living. That night a storm raged quickly. The wind howled like a wounded beast, and the rain lashed the walls. Sue closed the curtains tightly to keep Johnsy from seeing the storm. Now finally the storm was there. The, the heavy storm again began. Chauncey slept fitfully, whispering in her fever, the leaf it will fall. Now she was repeating again and again, the leaf, the leaf, the leaf. It will fall, it will fall. Because finally it was the time where the storm has again begun, and it was a time where leaf can probably fall. Morning came with a steel grey light. When Johnsy opened her eyes, she asked you to open the curtains. Now it was a morning time. She has asked Sue to open the curtains. Sue now hesitated. She didn't want Johnsy to hurt, and but she opened them slowly. Johnsy gasped. The last leaf was still there. It did not move, it did not tremble. It hung bravely against the angry storm, strong and determined. How did it survive? Don't know. Johnsy whispered. All day she stared at it, all night she stayed. The next day it was still there. The day after, too. Something stirred inside Johnsy that had been silent for weeks. That is, the hope. If that leaf does not give up, she said quietly, then neither will I. Now, this was the statement given by Johnsy that if that last leaf fall, I will also die. But now she is saying that कि अगर वो पत्ता नहीं गिरा तो वो भी अपनी लाइफ को लीड करेगी. She asked you for food. She smiled weakly. She wanted to live. Slowly, her health improved. Now, see the power of hope, see the power of belief, see the power of love and belongingness. The doctor saw this change and nodded happily. She will recover. Her will has returned. Now, doctor has just said that her will is back. Now she can recover and she is improving because her hope is back. But downstairs, something else had happened. Old Bear Man had fallen ill, and that too, very ill. He was found shivering, soaking wet, leaning against his bed. His boots were muddy and his clothes smelled of rain. The janitor had discovered a lantern, a ladder, and paint supplies lying outside near the wall, and at that on the front of the home. Bearman had spent the stormy night outside in the cold rain painting a leaf of the wall. Now, what had happened to Bearman? He was also suffered from pneumonia because of the night that he had spent outside while painting his masterpiece. That is a perfect leaf, a strong leaf, a leaf so real that even the wind could not shake it, even the storm could not break it. The masterpiece he had always dreamed of was the gift of life for her. But the effort, the cold, and the storm had given him the pneumonia. 2 days later he passed away. When Sue gently told Johnsy the truth, tears fell from both their eyes. Johnsy looked out at the painted leaf again and again. Now she was looking at the leaf again and again. It did not move. Now the painted leaf, I would say, was not moving. It would never fall. It has a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and hope, belief, belongingness, and a confidence towards yourself. And that was how an old man who had waited for 40 years for his masterpiece finally created it. Now, actually, we can say that that painting and that masterpiece was truly a masterpiece because the masterpiece has changed the life of a girl. Now, not that too, not on canvas, but on the wall, on the living tree, not for the fame, but a true purpose to save a life. So that was all about the story. I think that this story totally teaches us the power of hope, the power of belongingness, and how we can change that into our hope and we can change our lives. अगर वो लीफ ना होता आई वुड से तो शायद वो जॉन्सी भी ना रहती अब, बट दैट लीफ हैज चेंज जॉन्सीज लाइफ एज वेल. That I the last line totally touched my heart. That it was not a masterpiece on the canvas. It was an act of kindness. Birdman's greatest artwork wasn't a painting in a gallery, on a book, or on a phone, I can say. But it was a single painted leaf that saved someone's life, जिसने अपनी उसको अपनी जिंदगी वापस दे दी और जिंदगी से बड़ी कोई चीज नहीं होती. डोंट अटैच लाइफ टू मीनिंगफुल साइंस. ये भी एक बहुत बड़ा मॉरल लेसन हमें ये स्टोरी देती है कि हमें अपनी लाइफ को किसी एक मटेरियलिस्टिक थिंग से डिनोट नहीं करती. इन टुडेज वर्ल्ड वेयर वी आर रनिंग टुवर्ड्स मनी, टुवर्ड्स फेम, एंड after disease or any pandemic that is not in use. So first thing is to have hope and to have love towards yourself, self love, and that is the most crucial and expensive thing in this world, I would say. Another thing that we have learned from this poem and we have gasped that is strength often comes from unexpected place. जॉनसी ने कभी एक्सपेक्ट भी नहीं किया होगा कि वो जो पेंटर है जो उसके डाउनस्टेयर्स नीचे ही रहता है वो उसकी लाइफ वापस ला देगा. डॉक्टर ने जहां मना कर दिया था कि अगर वो उसकी उम्मीद हुई या उसकी विल हुई तो ही वो ठीक हो पाएगी, बट वो अननोन पर्सन जिसको वो जानती भी नहीं थी उसने वो मास्टरपीस बनाया एंड दैट हैड चेंज Johnson's life fully. So that is the power of will, and that is a belongingness between two individuals. And it also teaches us the power of humanity towards people. Our thoughts influence our health. What we think, what we is. जो भी हम सोचते हैं हम वही होते हैं, राइट? तो अगर जॉन्सी उसके बाद भी रिकवर होना ना चाहती या अपनी विल ना गेन करती तो उसे कोई भी नहीं बचा सकता था. उसने दोबारा अपनी हिम्मत की अपने आप को ठीक करने की एंड उसकी वजह से ही वो ठीक हो पाई. True friendship means standing beside someone in their worst situations. Yes, that's most important. खुशी के सब टाइम सब आते हैं बट जो हमारा सच्चा होता है वो तभी होता है जब वो वर्स्ट मोमेंट्स में हमारे साथ हो. तो जॉन्सी के साथ उसकी फ्रेंड स्यू थी जो कि उसकी ट्रूली बेस्ट फ्रेंड थी जिसने अपनी मास्टरपीस बनाने में भी बहुत हेल्प की थी स्यू ने, एंड उसी की वजह से वो वापस आई. It is well quoted that real friends don't run away, they're tough in their tough times. And sacrifice is powerful form of love. Yes, without sacrifice, I think we cannot achieve anything. और हम किसी की help भी करना चाहें, and that is sacrifice. किसी के लिए humanity is the powerful thing जो कि हमें हमारी गुरबानी में हमारी holy books में भी mentioned है कि humanity is the first worship that we have for the God. And yes, hope is the strongest medicine. In the story, agar Jhansi begin to recover only when she finds a hope in the painted leaf. When hope returns, strength returns, and I would say a life returns. Never give up when even life feels difficult. Yes, वही हम जब where we have started in the initial point, अगर हमारा why strong हो, then we can achieve anything in our life. The last leaf stands strong through the storm. It reminds us that one small sign of courage can keep a person alive. अगर एक पॉइंट भी हो हमारे पास होप का दैट कैन ब्रिंग अस अलाइव और हम अपनी लाइफ को फिर से रिवाइव कर सकते हैं जस्ट एज इन द स्टोरी जैसे कि जॉन्सी ने किया. उसने लास्ट लीफ को अपना होप बनाया और जिसकी वजह से वो अपनी लाइफ को दोबारा रिवाइव कर सकी. So this was all about my story, which is I think a very inspirational one, जो हमें सिखाती है कि लाइफ में कैसे अपने आप को दोबारा रिवाइव करना है. जब उसे डॉक्टर ने भी उसको जॉन्सी को मना कर दिया था बट उसकी होप ने उसको दोबारा अपनी जिंदगी वापस दी जो कि बहुत जरूरी है हम सबके लिए.
Thank you. It was very nice to hear. And your comment, Mansi, on this?
Yes, ma'am, indeed, it was a great walk back to the memory lane. This story,
Yeah.
last time we read it when we was little, like 12, 13 years old, when we didn't know the meaning of these heavy words: sacrifice, friendship, commitments, masterpiece. So it was
Your
great. Like
feelings?
The
Your comment.
unconditional sacrifice for a stranger. Stranger ही कह सकते हैं, even if they were neighbors, still strangers mostly.
Hmm.
Dying for someone. And एक और चीज इससे पता चल गई that the art only lives when the artist dies.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Your comment, Anushka.
it's the same. The best part of the story is कि मतलब जो painter है, he actually dies of pneumonia eventually. मतलब ठंड में बाहर जाके paint करना for someone he didn't even knew earlier. That act of kindness is really just amazing. Well, no one does it these days. मतलब, it's like the world has been so mean these days कि don't care about anyone and what they do. But the fact that the story actually tells people कि नहीं, there are still people out
Who are
there
selfless.
seeking kindness, and actually some people giving the kindness.
Mhm.
That's just amazing. बढ़िया है.
This is one of
We
the
need
story
people like
which
them.
this is one of the story which is very close to my heart also. And whenever
Yeah.
I read it, it feels like yes, we should be very selfless. We should do services which people accept from us, and we should be good to nature also. So that was great. And anything else you want to talk, girls?
जो ट्विस्ट आता है, जो मतलब दिस इज द सिग्नेचर थिंग ऑफ ओ हेनरी वर्क्स, जो वो
Hmm.
ट्विस्ट देते हैं लास्ट में, जैसे
Always.
एक और वन ऑफ द फेमस वर्क्स द गिफ्ट ऑफ मैगी.
Hmm.
He talks about one thing is his signature, one thing he talks about sacrifice, and एक बहुत ही
Allah.
twisted term देंगे where you will be like, bro what. जैसे गिफ्ट ऑफ मैगी में भी इट हैपेंस कि दोनों एक दूसरे के लिए गिफ्ट खरीदते हैं क्रिसमस वाला, and
Hmm.
he buys it selling his chain of selling his watch and
Hmm.
gets her a com. She sells her ear, get him the keychain of the
हाँ,
watch. Like,
दैट्स अ वंडरफुल स्टोरी। मतलब ये भी मेरे ज़हन में हमेशा रहती है स्टोरी, बहुत मतलब। और मुझे लगता है ये हमारे कोर्स बुक में थी व्हेन वी वर इट वाज इंग्लिश रीडर।
yes,
एंड आई डोंट नो अबाउट योर टाइम, बट इन आवर टाइम्स इट वाज इन आवर स्टोरी, आवर
it was in ours too, ma'am.
Yeah. It was nice also.
It is very iconic to not be in kids' readers.
चलो, विल सी योर फाइनल वर्ड सिमरन।
Yes, ma'am, that was all about the story. To humanities वो हमें इस पोम से सीखने को, इस स्टोरी से सीखने को भी मिलती है, इज वेरी इंस्पिरेशनल। एंड जब भी हमारे कभी लाइफ में सिचुएशन भी आती है जहाँ पे हम सोचते हैं कि क्या हम कुछ कर सकते हैं इसके लिए, तो या फिर छोड़ यार क्या ही करना, जब ये कोट बोलते हैं तो ये स्टोरी हमेशा मेरे माइंड में आती है। द वर्ड द एक्शन डन एज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ मास्टरपीस। सो ये मेरे लिए लाइफ हमेशा मेरे पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ वी कैन से वी कैन, जब भी मैंने ये एनसीईआरटी, इट वाज इन क्लास 10th इन आवर एनसीईआरटी, तब से ही मेरे माइंड में हमेशा स्ट्राइक करती है व्हेनेवर इट कम्स टू स्टोरी टेलिंग कॉम्पिटिशंस और स्टोरी टेलिंग समथिंग लाइक दैट।
चलो, दैट्स ऑल फॉर द डे। विल meet next Friday with a new story and with a new story reader. See you. Till
Yes,
then, bye
ma'am.
bye. We are going
And
offline.
stay well.
Uh,
Thank you everybody।